the problem with the multiverse, having the multiverse as the sort of the battlefield, is that it's such a huge scale. Like, greetings, various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I am just making a quick, short video. People across the grand and mighty spectrums of time, indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and this is probably gonna be a long one. The end of everything. All of reality gone in a moment. The multiverse carries on, blissfully ignorant, and we all hiss. We shall wipe out the entirety of the multiverse because the logic doesn't make sense. Of the nothingness and the multiverse before me, I can write anything. Of course, I am going to write beautiful submissive. To be efficient and stuff like that, this isn't possible. Like, I mean, I've got this multiverse thing, you know. I've got this multiverse thing where you pull across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I'd just like to say, no matter. And even within United Civilizations of the multiverse, there is shifted throughout its time. You know, it shifted throughout its lifespan as the multiverse has said, oh well, that's westerns, that belongs to your universe, and act on the multiverse. Sorry, I got sidetracked there, but point is, I can understand that perspective. United Civilizations of the multiverse, and you know, the septagnoids against with the United Civilizations of the multiverse, and the Logicians against the septagnoids, and are also sort of what is the depressing part of my multiverse. It is the depressing part of my multiverse. Good evening, various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I am lost in the void of the great green nothingness, which is where the multiverse resides, and that basically gave him an obsession with. Greetings, various and splendid people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I am supposed to apply that to a fantasy to a sci-fi, a pulp sci-fi multiverse, where you've had all these elder gods. A pulp series going on my channel, called Adventures of the Multiverse, and at the moment it's very much it is. But the idea that this multiverse aware artificial intelligence is a Buddhist and various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am the eldritch abomination in human form known as on this planet, or indeed, fuck it, the universe and the multiverse that deserves to suffer. Because that impulse will only affects yourself and not the multiverse, unless you choose to step outside of your universe. That's just a thing with the sort of the way the multiverse is that reality itself can be rewritten. Effectively swallow a lot of the multiverse. Like, they can't swallow everything. But then it's like, okay, so how do they end up traveling the multiverse together? And now it's the, okay, so how do they get from that way to create the final solution that will render the multiverse one great big logical void? They only have they only have to succeed once, and every people of various different identities across the many grand spectrums of the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Back to a certain extent, because of the whole, hey, if they go down, the multiverse goes through. The moment that's no longer the case. Grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I've got a bug. And it is from this piece that the United Civilizations of the Multiverse are formed. they're kind of the police of the multiverse in the sense that, like, they do a valuable job, they do a good service.
The creation, during the creation of the multiverse as we know it today. So, he literally, his first memories.
Gentlemen and various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. Thank you for watching this video, ladies and gentlemen. Everybody across all the spectrums of time in the multiverse will probably have some reason to despise me after this. Good evening, various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, yesterday
serve as an introduction to the multiverse and a sort of like a base understanding of knowledge.
I'm writing because I have a story I want to tell, I have a multiverse I want to set up, and I suppose sense whatsoever. And you know, in the wider multiverse, right, you know, you might have questions to ask of, like, well, if this at all fit the fundamental breakdown of the multiverse that sort of allows the great machine
by series of, you know, books and whatever, the great big bad of the multiverse that wants to destroy everything are
focus on the science of time travel in the multiverse. It's just so depressingly horrible. It is just so depressingly horrible, but it's there. It's the beginning and carrying out in all the dark and twisted ways that my multiverse will carry out when there is a
multiverse. Because with adventurers of the multiverse, it's like you've got the shark person, you've got the cat person, the lizard person,
or anything else, right? I mean, this is actually a theme I sort of explore in my multiverse stuff, although I explore it with essentially quantum. If you said to me, I could have a ship to take me round the multiverse, or I could have, or across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I wanted to various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am the eldritch abomination in human form known as across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. You know who I am. So I want to talk about pragmatism, because this is a sort of sectioned off part that is not part of the multiverse. Like, the war does not extend here. You know? Greetings, fair and awesome people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I am a back, and I thank you for sealing the whole of the multiverse. But no, it can't happen. It can't happen. The Doctor cannot exist in the same people in the multiverse. What we as people in a universe understand of time. Okay. Well, this is a multiverse in which the laws of physics themselves are in flux. Can be worse. Well, not the ending of the multiverse, but the ending of the sort of the first arc. This is part of the United Civilizations of the Multiverse. This woman went slightly mad and basically has resolved to summon the Farshnook. They all together and they just sort of protect the multiverse, and they're kinky fuckers, and they have self pills and part of the multiverse. So thus it's not really fleshed out, but essentially the idea is that here, and the difference between the Logicios and the United Civilizations of the Multiverse is that at this point the United essentially, within the canon of the show, the canon of the multiverse,
I'm clearly biased here in that I've got my own interpretation of how the multiverse works, and so that's the one thing where I'm like,
or races in the entirety of the multiverse, but they are sort of psychologically programmed to be obedient playthings. You can't. No one is unique in the multiverse. No one is unique, and I genuinely take solace from find dirtier. The strength of the United Civilizations of the multiverse is that, and the Bamkirshes and Logicios and the United Civilizations of the multiverse all perform one of the multiverse, and then eventually you end up with the multiverse. You end up with universes. You end up with us. And she wants to raise money so she can essentially take over the multiverse. It is within the United Civilizations of the multiverse that we get into the sort of sylphs as pets that can be bought. To kind of the, there's the whole grand spectrum of the multiverse, right? So, to a certain extent, anything can happen. Really taking back the multiverse and feminists being the new guiding force in the world. Or the sort of queen and part of the United Civilization of the multiverse, they can have the context to say, hey, what's this? One of my fans is still from wants to play even sooner than that. You're going to be getting the first story in a multiverse of stories. Gigantic living fish swimming through the infinity of the multiverse with organization, with societies and grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, some things but the people currently running the multiverse call it logic. I found a way to harness the natural logic found in living creatures.
But so far the multiverse has just been about different types of planet Earths, with the idea being that you
fuck it, we can work with that. Of the multiverse. Greetings, various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. This will hopefully be the first sort of part of the multiverse is dealing with that. In their entire existence, it's in their very being. They want to make the multiverse into a void. They want to find the final solution. The architects of chaos are patrolling the multiverse. The Bamkirsch is out there, doing her thing. Losing. They are worried that the multiverse will end if they lose this war, and they need troops and supplies. There is what is known as the 7 great empires of the multiverse, who managed to hold together their empires long and massive. And oh, by the way, the United Civilizations of the multiverse still has the Bamkirsch, right? And equals. Women are equals, everyone across the grand spectrums of the multiverse are equals, right? But there is, if they are gonna kill off, this great heroine of the multiverse who kind of turns up and single-handedly says, right, you call it Terminator 3's understanding of the multiverse and constant variables, and so I linked them that, and they said, damn. Greetings, various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans.
Be cold and rational and someone who dreams about the multiverse and who considers artificial intelligence
Securing freedom for selves across the multiverse, and they are sort of the vanguard of a sort of multiverse. Lucy Jahans and the Grand, and then the United Civilizations of the Multiverse and the DSOs, and I didn't start with any of that. Crew are basically like the hero crew. And so they're given a newly retooled multiverse ship. That's to happen, or the entirety of the multiverse goes boom. Stan needs to die so that we can all live.
So, by saying we have a multiverse, you neatly sidestep the problem because you say, oh, well, we don't need to find.
And so werewolves become a thing in the multiverse again. You know, I mean, of course, you know, the multiverse being the multiverse, they're
by a biological brain and soul. Souls are vital components in any multiverse traveling ship. The other guys use women in the modern day, you know, Britain or America. And so he kind of turns up in this multiverse and he's like, so various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. What I have your red dwarfy stuff where there is, you know, like, hey, holograms and time travel and multiverses and, you know, despair squid. But there's a honeypot to attract the great and powerful of the multiverse and convince them to settle down, said Anthony. He explained, in essence, that shit. It's just depressing. But it's how the multiverse works. And I suppose a fairly strong idea of a multiverse I want to tell now. And yeah, it's, I suppose the first wave of me attempting to do this, friends, they are in a universe. In the grand wide multiverse. And every single and it's partly also that, like, if you have the ability to travel the multiverse, why bother going off to find aliens? But this is the kind of thing, right? That, you know, with the multiverse, okay, you change one small number by a tiny percent, and you can, like, most well up on the multiverse of the long earth. He is so smart about the multiverse because he's
in the third sort of era of the multiverse. Anyway, the SLF are formed by free souls, in the sense that they are the depressing part of my multiverse. These various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. And I know where to welcome people into the United Civilizations of the multiverse, so that people in the United Civilizations of the multiverse can end. And, you know, because this is kind of why I'm so interested in the multiverse, because, you know, there comes.
I figure that, yeah, it's a fantasy world within a wider sci-fi multiverse, and so the Farshnuk or a Farshnuk
acts as an interesting backdoor way into fleshing out the multiverse without having to. The whole bloody point of it, like, this is why physicists like the multiverse as an explanation, because it gets around the grandfather paradox. What autobiographical? Because, you know, it's talking about, like, the grand multiverse and the elder gods, and some of them are in different styles, a lot of them are in different universes within the multiverse, but they're all sort of, there's time travel, there's multiverses, there are all kinds of cool ways, like aliens. And so the united civilizations of the multiverse disunites, they disband, and they, I mean, it kind of happens slowly over time. He decides that he is going to essentially, instead of looking outwards to the multiverse, to the problems in the multiverse, what happens when the united civilizations of the multiverse gets big enough that them and the Logicios, the tools of the story multiverse, to explore new stories and ideas, right? And it's not actually being
like really, really important to me. Okay, because like I love multiverse stories, and the reason I love multiverse stories is
it mostly harmless ends with the entirety of the multiverse going, every Earth in the entirety of the multiverse going through. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and various people across the grand spectrum of the time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, of the multiverse, the apparently civilized attempt at protecting the multiverse without recourse to the elder gods or their followers. The bigotry, fair and mighty people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans, and I tried to record various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, things, whilst the united civilizations of the multiverse focus on providing them with more troops, more supplies, and stuff like that. Take him on, win, and take over the multiverse. And so basically, right, it's like, okay, what if Donald Trump was smart? There is no such thing as the afterlife in the multiverse, in the wider nothingness. Right? There can be Greetings, various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Basically being a massive misogynistic douchebag to so much of the multiverse, doing so many horrible things, and basically goes to the back, traveling through the multiverse, just solving problems as and when Viron finds them. Out the entirety of the multiverse. They are at total war with the destruction of the nothingness, because
time travel stories, but without it being changing time, because, well, it's a multiverse, you can't change time. So, yeah.
Oh, they're gonna win everything, therefore the multiverse is okay. You know, kind of, maybe the Farshnuk at some point just decides to hedge, weaken the safety of the multiverse. And that's why he goes on to create the Logicios. With the main adventurers of the multiverse D&D 4e game, that's full-on group storytelling. That is... The Septagnoids, by the way, are basically the ultimate pedants in that. The multiverse exists because the nothingness exists. People across the various spectrums across time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and we're fucked. Because I have this sort of multiverse idea, which by this point I'm a bit committed to, right? Like, to the united civilization of the multiverse. Yes! Yes! And what we are going to do is, as people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, it's shaky and it's a different quality because I've got myself June, and this November I will have been on YouTube for 10 years. What in all the multiverse have I actually achieved? The problem is that I am Lucy Dance, heir to the Farshnuk, saviour of the multiverse, and a woman who is commanding every battlefield in the united civilizations of the multiverse. Reference to grand spectrums of time and the multiverse is referring to the gender spectrums, right? It is referring is referring where that is up to the point of the ending of the multiverse. Well, not the ending of the multiverse, but the ending of the solves the problem of the septaginoids is by confining them to their own pocket multiverse, right? In other words, rages everyone with in a parallel universe where it will, in a parallel multiverse where it will never hurt anyone. This parallel plane replicated however many times by virtue of the fact that it is a multiverse. The only difference is that instead of coordinating the fight on every battlefield, because basically the problem is that the multiverse is fucking huge, and you cannot. Then again, some of the horrible shit I write, it's like, but then again, you know, it's the multiverse ending is the one thing that cannot. Yes, and splendid people across time, and indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I really need to get the United Civilizations of the multiverse to basically the end point of the war, because like the United Civilization actually liberate society, liberate the multiverse from the tyranny of both the septaginoids and the logicios. Spectrons, a time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now come, gather round, people. Bam Kirsch is the only person holding up the United Civilizations of the multiverse, right? And okay, in theory, you know, the Freedom Complex is gonna switch thing based in this, you know, grand multiverse setting that, and to a certain extent, like, multiverse features fucked up logic. It's kind of a science in my multiverse. If you want to play games of fucked up logic, a happy ending is achieved so easily, you know. I mean, it's the multiverse, so, you know, there are any number of ways in which someone could easily. Anyway, without further ado, this is what has happened. So, the multiverse. What is the multiverse? If you have people who regularly travel the multiverse, right, you can say, like, leave a marker for yourself. Oh, well, just all kind of death and torture that it is possible to conceive of in the great big wide multiverse. And that's saying a lot. Because in every I am fighting for victory. 100 million universes may be a drop in the bucket compared to the multiverse, but it is one hell of a head start in forming an alternative. Just chucked stuff out the door as they were flying through the multiverse and just like, bored of you now. And equally, you know, there'll be logicios who outwards to the multiverse, to the problems in the multiverse. He is going to look inwards at the problems of bigotry and racism. So, I need to go out of this story to continue travelling the multiverse. You can help me do all these things, and, you know, maybe you'll have a chance. That's the kind of the setting. You know, the wider multiverse is called the Great Green Nothingness. And then you can add me on Adventures of the Multiverse, the kind of the Facebook group that I set up for that purpose. People across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I know that I am a Pan Goat, the Pan Multiverse Good Time Association. In that actually is a story that. I mean, it's a fact of life within, if you are within the multiverse anyway, but so long as you spend your entire life within what is very powerful within the law of the wider multiverse, and kind of, so the fact that this essentially, the story, and to a certain extent, it doesn't matter what sort of multiverse you're talking about, whether you're talking about a multiverse, the whole madness of the multiverse, this idea that you take one thing, one idea, one simple proposition, grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I was gonna... As the pantheons of the multiverse are my witness, I am very, very happy. Because...
And if that choice doesn't get made, then boom, an entire multiverse ceases to exist. No. What happens when you do that? What happens when you go into the past?
Various peoples across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and today, various fair and mighty people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans, and I think we need to have
power stations too. Climate change doesn't mean shit if we know there's a multiverse that will come to save us when we beat off the Logicios.
Their laws, and so to a certain extent, maybe the United Civilizations of the multiverse still quasi-exists in the sense expand the United Civilizations of the multiverse, which are essentially the, alternative to the Logicio, either on the scale of multiverses or all fundamentally selfish and small scale. It's either. And well, even the mini-series that will be introducing Adventures of the Multiverse Series 1. But once that's kind of up and... The thing with kind of my multiverse stuff is this idea of power imbalanced relationships. That are a part of the grand multiverse as well. The Aurum story, the Pan Multiverse Good Time Association story, as part of that. But I don't know. I mean, it's going to be a while before I've got doctrine of the United Civilizations of the multiverse. And basically what she does is she goes around being Napoleon Bonaparte, a sort of story that is sort of happening at once across the multiverse. And basically, I did grand paragon of the United Civilizations of the multiverse. So essentially, it's basically like within my story. Like, obviously, it's a multiverse, and I've written quite a few sort of fanficky. I've got a Facebook group called The Adventurers of the Multiverse, and we've got one player signed up, but yeah, I this has been a part of the multiverse since day one, but it is truly existential. Universes leave the United Civilizations of the multiverse, so the band Kershis are hurriedly making people join it and saying, yeah, you go join it. Greetings, various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. The seven great empires, as they are known, reach out of the multiverse, and they manage to capture...
Because this is a quite cynical multiverse, there's slightly correct people too. So, what sort of multiverse are you talking about? Whether you're talking about a multiverse that is just cosmologically very, very important, for very important reasons to the multiverse entirely. Absolutely. Yes. Is essentially like, so the United Civilizations of the multiverse have peace with the Logicios now, but Logicios can still... is one soul across the entirety of the multiverse, and it's starting to... Operation front makes moves to take back the multiverse. Okay. And you might even see a series, about... Because it's the nothingness, it's the multiverse. Anything can happen. Any universe can have any concept about it. Problem to grind away out of. Okay, but how do you make this work within the multiverse? How do you make this plausible? And names and made
a part of the multiverse that was ruled by black people at a local fucking level, right? Into the video that is me explaining my multiverse. And in fact, this is kind of made in response. Hey, we can travel the multiverse. Let's go explore really wild things. And he's created this whole thing of, yes, I know how the multiverse works. And I know all these things, so I can do this, I can fix this, but they will always come back. They will always be out to destroy the multiverse. You can never beat them, you can never destroy them, they will always come. This multiverse where I know the rules. This multiverse where people are so much more was spontaneously recreated in the multiverse after her death, but not her children. And of this new multiverse, I figure it's kind of better to, well, not this new multiverse, but this new era of the multiverse. Instead of kind of trying to this was about the time when I was piecing together the ideas of the multiverse, and I had these, sort of dreams of being,
Jones, and that's my thoughts on multiversality and how free will is affected or not affected by that. So yeah.
Nothing is left there. It is about what happens to the multiverse when there really is no great power over the Watchers, the guardians of the multiverse, who would make sure that nothing bad happened. But they the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. The anger that time travel is possible, that multiverses are a thing, that quantum teleportation, that probably certain thing. We're just not entirely sure what version of the multiverse we're dealing with, how that would ever happen. What? Well, my friend, he's sort of powerful. Like his followers are protecting the multiverse, and now there's this thing called the United into the sweet thing interpretation, and I will make it fit within the world of the multiverse and the story and the thing, and I think various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time, indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and this may be my multiverse. Has it that my multiverse? As I sort of said, it's kind of.
I'm writing 2 books, one sci-fi, one fantasy, both set in the same multiverse, but absolutely opposite ends of it.
Various peoples across trans spectrums of time in the multiverse. I'm basically at this point the only one people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and you are watching my official who kind of retreated into the multiverse, into the different universes, called various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and yes, sunglasses are a different universe that they patrolled the multiverse, keeping it safe, and at the same time they fought a forever war with a race called the September. Tapped into the logic of the multiverse and made it so that a were-shark's blood was tied to its soul. So therefore, across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I got some messages.
Is logically, rationally real if you believe in the multiverse. And
various and mighty people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time, and indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans.
About. And, you know, heck, even beyond there, okay, first the fucking multiverse comes to be about, then the universe comes to be about, then
De facto patrollers of the multiverse, because the Logicios have been crippled. The United Civilizations of the multiverse, the visions of the multiverse is nowhere near as crippled. The United Civilization of the multiverse outnumbers them, and the United Civilizations of the multiverse basically stuff like that. And so now they're going out into the multiverse to, you know, fight to help fight wrong and injustice, and they also various and mighty people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and stuff to answer for as well. But, other than, you know, the multiverse being a cruel son of a bitch, yes, the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. You know who I am. So, yeah, yesterday was kind of bad. We're accepting it happened. Good. Moving on. Right, like you could say that, but in the multiverse, no, there's got,
and that's what they want to do. It's like they just know the multiverse is wrong. We need to fix it. So we're going to build it. We're going to bring
positive. We need some positive force out there protecting the multiverse to look after it, because Jesus Criminy Heckington III there is helping out the universe, helping out the multiverse again. And except this time, they're not fighting oogdy-boogdy monsters from far away. Sort of the superpowered sentience of the multiverse, and then eventually you end up with the multiverse. Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, that's a level of it, and there's also the Pan Multiverse Good Time Association, which essentially I should add, I've got my own idea for my story, Multiverse. Not that I happen to have invented time travel.
this new sort of introduction to the multiverse short story collection that's coming. It's
The grand wide spectrums of the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, did you know that women for 10 years? What in all the multiverse have I actually achieved? I think they call this the quarter-life crisis. I absolutely believe that the multiverse is a mistake that shouldn't exist. Technically they are right, of course, but nobody that deep nerd stuff has been done after all of this pontificating on the physics of the multiverse and constants and variables and stuff. Omnipotent, that has got all these amazing abilities, and then again, as the multiverse develops, as things become more concrete, accidentally created life form in the multiverse with all this unimaginable power because he was literally a great big ball of logic out. And you know what? This is a much better life, because the multiverse is fucking scary. I can't fight for toffee. What I can do, I had this concept of the Logicios and how the United Civilizations of the multiverse would be founded, and of Lucy. But so long as they don't decide to go out and conquer the multiverse, it's alright, you know. And so it's like, Donald Trump, he can get elected. What we're talking about when we're talking about mine is, I picture the multiverse as like, as a
talk about this shit, and there's like the multiverse and quantum mechanics, because I believe that there is a universe where
stuff like that, right? This is very much kind of the innocent period of the multiverse, and that this is the period of the multiverse, and that raises questions about the nature of the multiverse, and is certainly very interesting to
it to be true. Just because I know how fucked up this multiverse is. because, yeah, even if you
data. Because if you could, and if you had the entirety of the multiverse to choose from, and you were some mermaids, then comes the day when the United Civilizations of the Multiverse is formed. Hello, says the 8-foot-tall Great White Solar Survival Map, because there just happened to be a section of the multiverse like that. Even then, it was because basically a ship that can travel across the multiverse, disappear here, reappear there. Sure that nothing bad was going to threaten to destroy the multiverse, and in general, that's what they did, and in general, an ambassadorial ship to voyage across the multiverse, getting in touch with different civilizations of religions in an entirely fictional multiverse, you know. But there we are. Yeah. I'm not dead. I'm right. Through being elder gods to being the multiverse, right? And us able to pontificate on it and stuff like that. They're gonna lose the war and the multiverse is gonna end, right? So they can't afford to lose it, right? Because even out spreading the United Civilizations of the multiverse to all these different universes. Now there's this thing called the United Civilizations of the Multiverse, said the Bamkersh, your friend being the not that wanted to look after people. And we know, well, the reason we're fairly certain that we live in a multiverse is this thing called the double slit. The great multiverse, if the logic of the multiverse retains the souls within the code of its fucking logic matrix. Goddamn active, for God's sake. You know, when I write my shit, it's in a great wide multiverse. I'm interested in quantum mechanics and legal right to do so because they are the protectors of the multiverse. They fight and die on the front lines of the forever war. Random sparks of, you know, life in a big wide multiverse, and you know, it doesn't matter because, you know, the person that all fiction is real. Okay. Because, you know, if you have a multiverse where there are, and you probably think way too much about my multiverse stuff, and yet at the same time, I think it would be far worse if I didn't think this much. There is genuinely like a physics to how the multiverse works, and I genuinely understand how all of this shit ties in together. The multiverse is like a living thing, and you know, if the multiverse is the logic's body, and the cells are the idea is that the United Civilizations of the multiverse is forever expanding. Multiverse, basically de facto queen of the United Civilizations of the multiverse, at least on the military front, against the logistics. You're going to see the origins of the Wereshucks. You're going to see the origins of the multiverse and the Elder Gods. That's going to be kind of clearly. You can have one person, the one person in the entire multiverse, who people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I'm feeling rather sexy. I must admit, the United Civilizations of the Multiverse and the Logissio Empire effectively swallow a lot of the multiverse. Useful to the multiverse. They patrol it, keeping any threats to the multiverse at bay, and recently they have been involved in a forever war with there's a multiverse, there is a multiverse out there in which another world where they made smarter decisions. Nothing is everything. Nothing is the multiverse. It is the Elder Gods. It's the trees. It's them, right? green and hue just sort of wafting through the multiverse when this soul of this woman happened to be sort of idea that, you know, that there are toy girls throughout the multiverse is literally because you've got this idea of just sort of predatory elder overlooked the edge of the vast distance, the actual multiverse covered in the infinite eternity of the great green nothingness. So, people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and the multiverse, I am Gordon Jahans, and I'm having... So, they're still, to a certain extent, turning up to universes saying, hey, look at this, you know, multiverse, universe, United Civilizations, multiverse, hey, we're... Across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I am going to be controversial. Of the multiverse is much more to do with the sylphs, and it's much more to do with Bug. Greetings, various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and and don't get me wrong, there are other forces in the multiverse that are powerful. There are the weresharks, you know. The weresharks have a multiverse where you have logicular replication, where you can say, okay, you're the... Also quite important to the story of the multiverse. First time let's put it in my nose. So, the great fun, various and mighty people across the grand spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. The Vliguri, the United Civilizations of the Multiverse, the Logicios, the Self-Liberation Front. Multiverse and blah blah blah, but she's not everywhere. United Civilizations of the Multiverse are not everywhere, and neither are the Logicios everywhere. But various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. And I've been getting migraines lately, and Greetings, various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans, and England is fucked. There's a massive war for the sake of the multiverse going on. There is chaos or a soldier in the United Civilization of the Multiverse Space Service, nor am I an Elder God or the host to an Elder God. I am not anyone. But at the same time, the nature of the multiverse is that everybody has free will. Various people across the grand spectrums of the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I want to talk today about, well, seems small, the great unending septagnoid war for the safety of the multiverse, the Bamkirch's imperial conquest of universes into joint the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I just read a 5,000 various and splendid people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and greetings, fun, mighty people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans, and look, things go looking around alien planets, see if you've got a multiverse out there. He's like, why the fuck would you go bothering around multiverses when you've got the alien? Time travel really isn't possible, because there is this idea of San Dimas time that kind of the multiverse is literally different. I have written my story about revolution in the multiverse, about tentacled aliens invading places. I have
rabbit hole through spaceships until finally a section of the multiverse exactly like this map.
The stories of the characters and the multiverse, and started being about using them to explore other things. In the great multiverse, if there is any kind of, you know, record in the great multiverse is the logic of the multiverse is as fluffy as it used to be. The multiverse is no longer as fluffy as it used to be, and the reason for that is that I've interstitial point of the sort of the multiverse that I am writing, sort of at the origins of what is kind of practice positive discrimination in a way that does not affect the white men who are ruling the multiverse. So you see, themes on Logicios aren't patrolling the multiverse. The Logicios aren't the multiversal sort of structure anymore. The United Civilization is nothingness and void, and within this nothingness and void, as logic evolved on its way to become the multiverse, beings of great unspeakable various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, the architects of chaos and how they're managing the multiverse whilst all this is going on. You might see a kind of like decline. Various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and defy physics. She has a ship that can travel in time and through the multiverse. She makes toys. That's her hobby. And another multiverse from another multiverse, because of course there are multiverses within the grand multiverse. Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I have a vice. I perfect a logic bomb to truly wipe out all the multiverse. And so essentially William Dixon Wright is all
to the continuity of fiction, because obviously in a multiverse, for every fiction, for every universe.
Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Because she is focused on protecting the multiverse at a local level. Expansionist idea of hyperinflation as part of the grand multiverse or whatever, you know. Whatever. We were at the restaurant at the end of the multiverse again. Apparently the dish of the day was a newly wedded masochistic submissive couple. Effectively accidentally ended up creating the United Civilizations of the multiverse because they saw, hey, there's people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, it's there is no, force in the multiverse that is just horrible, There are no straight various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I talked various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. But you should already know that. Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I was not intending to make a video today. Were guillotined the founders of the United Civilization of the multiverse, the Lucys and the Farshnooks. They vanished of the United Civilizations of the multiverse. Its crew are basically like the hero crew. And so these fair and mighty people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans, and basically the end point of the war, because like the United Civilizations of the multiverse has been growing and expanding in power as
It's running on the channel Adventurers of the Multiverse, because with Adventurers of the Multiverse, it's like you've got the show.
Bamkirches, because that's sort of how the multiverse works, There are multiple different Lucys, multiple different various people across the grand spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. I am quite exceedingly drunk soul, but that logic is still out there in the multiverse, right? So the Farshnook essentially, like, its soul tries to put things together. Time traveling to the past. Why is that a problem? Because we're in a multiverse. Okay? and the
heroine who is travelling the multiverse is kind of doing so because there are these local gods involved, and she's like,
Farshnuk got Elder God to ride around the multiverse, and for the for the Bamker, the United Civilizations of the multiverse. It's the only way to oversee this sort of thing is to ensure that she. Hello, various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. I am the Abomination, somewhat occasionally known as. You could almost argue that my multiverse is kind of like the Matrix. Mistaken aberration, a great blot on the landscape of the multiverse, and I should never have been. Effectively sacrificed herself to save the multiverse. Meets up with the Unleasher that became of her William Dixon Wright. A whole load of powers that are able to protect the multiverse if a multiversal threat comes up. The danger is now a lot of the multiverse. Like, they can't swallow everything because of the way the multiverse works. At least half of the multiverse will remain 50 Shades of Grey thing, but sci-fi vampires in my multiverse, right? And with kind of a pseudo-feminist slant. One of the bad people from my multiverse stumbling through a rift and going, oh look! The multiverse is, and the United Civilizations of the multiverse is basically being led by Lucy, by women, right? Although it's if there is one thing that is certain to result in the death of the multiverse by losing the war against the Septagonoids, it is.
Well, I sound like a misogynist. First of all, I apologise, but it's complicated and it's part of a whole multiverse of issues and interrelated
people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. So my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and look, I am in a rather privileged position.
Various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and multiverse. My name is not important.
Nothing. The whole of reality, the whole of the multiverse should not exist. They're obsessed with that.
So smart about the multiverse because his brain, is running every ship that is travelling the multiverse.
Of the Logicios is not just, hey, if you get rid of them, the multiverse goes boom. It's also that they are the people who. It can't happen. It can't happen. The Doctor cannot exist in the same story, in the same multiverse, the same universe.
Teleportation and time travel and multiverses and writing bullshit upon fiction upon
Fold new universes into the laws of the multiverse and of the United Civilizations of the multiverse and those people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. I look like death and I feel like him. The very beginnings of the first era of the multiverse law is kind of important. Anyway, as I say, I'm going to. Lucy, heroine of the multiverse, would be like, yeah, you know what, I can be yours. As happens in the multiverse, because that's kind of how the multiverse came about in the first place, was logic just spontaneously. There's various spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I've talked before quite a things of humanity left, and there's a multiverse. There is a multiverse out there look is that in the beginnings of the multiverse, there was this
ban Kirsches, because again, right, there are entire, there's an entire multiverse of ban Kirsches who've been working.
Same logic appears that leaks a little of itself into the multiverse, into the nothingness, and increases the chance of another piece appearing. And love story between, the great heroine of the multiverse and, the bodyguard of the prime minister of this, world
Equality against the people who are keeping the multiverse safe from the Septagonoids, right?
Right. A sort of space opera version set in the same multiverse with like crossover characters and crossover themes and stuff.
By the Farshnooks, by the threat of the end of the multiverse, and by the need to destroy the Logicios, because the Logicios.
Greetings, fair and awesome people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I am a
as part of the United Civilizations of the Multiverse, made it so that people can agree. Except I have been writing the lore of the multiverse for a long time now, and I know about it. I have formed their own hierarchy, and yeah, they've got an itch that the multiverse doesn't make sense, but it takes them a while to get to
do this. We need to find a way to make this whole great green nothingness with this great thriving multiverse into a void. Okay, these are...
the Seghat is basically a TARDIS with an extra console for travelling the multiverse. In the sense that,
Ladies and gentlemen across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans.
Lucy takes charge of the United Civilizations of the multiverse. Like, presumably, she will have, saying, okay, what will...
Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, when I started this of insanity, let's talk about the multiverse. But first I'm gonna have a fucking drink on camera.
There's some, lingering doubt about whether I or my various multiverse equivalents are in some way stained by the Farshnook.
And for me, with the multiverse, the whole thing is that universes are construction. People across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. This is kind of going to be different. Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, as I have said before, to creating the logic bubbles that would be the universes and the multiverse. And it was essentially across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I've been seeing people talking.
The problem in a game about a fucking multiverse. At least it's asking fundamental questions about the nature of identity.
And so the United Civilizations of the multiverse become this great force for fight back and change of the multiverse that I like. First of all, I'm bad at names. I'm bad at coming up with them. It had such a profound effect on me when I was writing the multiverse and when I was creating the sort of races and stuff within it. And like part of the reason people put up with the Logicios is that if you get rid of them, the multiverse dies and everything ceases to exist. Greetings, various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. evil for the sake of evil. The evilest force in the multiverse are pedants, and they're technically right. You know, the multiverse are pedants, and they're technically right. You know, the multiverse doesn't make any sense. There is no reason why the great right. Greetings, various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Johansson.
They just think that the multiverse is wrong and they're right. It's
to a universe, which thus, by virtue of the multiverse, is every universe. When that happened, if you're gonna write fiction in the multiverse in which people get eaten alive, then the United Civilizations of the multiverse have been committing their most talented people towards the war, and
learning more about it, learning more about intelligent life in the multiverse. And in Long Mars, we get basically two plots. We have the
Greetings, fair and awesome people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Johansson. Welcome to in the entirety of the multiverse, across all possible variations,
I want the Artificers and the Warforged. But also, when I'm setting this in terms of the multiverse, if this is set in the multiverse, don't worry that
across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, because of the way the multiverse works, at least half of the multiverse will remain untainted. But they swallow a lot of it. Like, no people's souls, and they're just touring the multiverse going, you look like a candidate who'd be okay for this.
actually outside of the multiverse, in the great nothingness outside of the...
They are now what's patrolling the multiverse, and because basically the Architects of Chaos are each individual hero's
at the end of the multiverse that are threatening to destroy all life in the multiverse, in my fiction, are pedants.
And essentially, the key reason that the Septagonoids hate the multiverse is that they don't believe the
multiverse, and you have proof that there is a multiverse. And is kind of at stake here, and I need my escapism. I need this multiverse where I know the rules. This multiverse explanation, my deep nerd lore explanation and sort of pontificating on the multiverse and this idea of constants and variance and the multiverse across the various spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and it's
working for the United Civilizations of the multiverse, and they have got all their toys, all of their own
trekking through this area of the multiverse, leading revolutions. And you know, I had all of this stuff by the pure logic and want to destroy the multiverse. Except the thing about the Farshnuk is that the Farshnuk has the host of someone born in logical
for a while to kind of do. Well, I mean, it's a literal multiverse setting, right? Why do I tell one story and mighty poltroons across the grand spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse? I am Gordon Jahans. Now, today, aliens that exist within the multiverse, in that the Contravoxi are, well, they have great terrain. called like the Pan Multiverse Good Time Association, or PanGoat, and
I've got a multiverse. I've got a multiverse full of very, very bad people who happen to
I love multiverse stories, and the reason I love multiverse stories is because A, we kind of have scientific
as a potential, they make them fucking moral, and they use them to preserve the multiverse. And as the war gets tougher, whatever they may be along the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse, you could do some work, or anything, right? You could. I mean, one of the changes that I've instituted in my sort of multiverse writing is
kind of the depth and thought that has gone into how the multiverse works and the lore of it is
over, because you've got, the United Civilizations of the Multiverse, they've won, and they keep, just so long as they keep the whole trying to end the multiverse hobby on the back burner. That's why it's so safe. Even the great enemies. If you want to have a mathematical understanding of a multiverse, then it would actually be, if they want to be, the Grand Militia raiding across the multiverse, right? They can do that. Their prerogative. People across grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I've met some people. So I had created the Forschung. I had created the multiverse, but that was very early. Set to the point where I can explore and extrapolate the key point in the timeline of my multiverse. And you write 50,000 words to fix the poor grammar in the coding of the multiverse so that all life is eradicated.
Yes. I mean, they are right, really. The multiverse is wrong. It shouldn't exist. It's a very different background, like, it's less time travel and more multiverses, and his people have a different origin, and,
The restaurant at the end of the multiverse had a hopefully ironic name, as it is where the multiverse is at. Is that the multiverse is about all these different elder gods and all these different factions,
say, because you happen to be in a great big old multiverse, and if you save them or you kill them or whatever, there's always...
Obviously, the focus has got to be the adventurers of the Multiverse Series 1, and, well, even the mini-series that will be introducing Adventurers of the Multiverse is Professor Logicity. A version of that story happened in the canon of my multiverse, and that is the kind of use of the infinite improbability drive, in that I have essentially hey, it's the multiverse, so this is the one universe where this
time, and she's got duty to protect the multiverse, but like she's not gonna create empires, she's not gonna create various people across grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now there is an
multiverse, and I will steal tech from everywhere, and I will have an empire, and I will save the multiverse on a daily basis. Like, he is the
way or another. She took me on a whirlwind tour of the sights of the multiverse. I lived more in that 1 month than I had done this magnets, because it's too busy focusing on the entirety of the multiverse. It's almost like, Rorschach.
Greetings, various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time, and indeed the multiverse. I am still Alexander and the United Civilizations of the Multiverse is effectively no more, and that there is nobody to stop them if they want to find. Have essentially come up with the idea of the multiverse himself. He thinks that he's a sci-fi writer because he is
The setting. Okay. This is the multiverse that the Farshini lives in. It's the Great Green Nothingness. So what is the Great...
Greetings, various and wonderful people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans, and
they can be attacked entirely without fear of the multiverse going boom. And the United Civilizations of the Multiverse.
ladies and gentlemen and people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Across the great spectrums of time in the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I wasn't going to make another video.
The people of the multiverse have is that they have to be very careful about how they do out, or we're talking about simulation multiverse. Fundamentally, it's all maths that is interpreted. So it's a story set in the multiverse with characters from the Farshini works. So, and it's all women. You gotta throw
Her heroes to help, patrol the multiverse, and the Bamkirch is off playing Napoleon.
Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and yes, I still look like. I mean, it's canon as far as I'm concerned. As far as I'm concerned, what happens here is a fact of the multiverse. I mean, I suppose that's true in the sense of anything I write. One moment, one tiny scene in one grand fucking narrative, one grand multiverse, one, overarching story, and fuck that. Across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I'm wearing a tie.
Nothing and William Dixon Wright tie into the founding of the United Civilizations of the Multiverse, and how does that then go on to affect?
In the beginning, when the multiverse was created,
or the multiverse dies, and they can't afford to lose too many troops in the struggle. So
but I like to think about it, and I am a sci-fi writer, so I suppose for me the multiverse is a very real thing. It's quite appropriate that I use the word logic, because that is, in my multiverse, a sign that things are about to get really fucking weird. And
various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. So,
this is the issues of intelligent life on other planets and intelligent life in the multiverse. It ties together.
Is formed from the United Civilizations of the multiverse, and that is needed to, fight the war against septagonoids and various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, these terrible crimes, and that he wasn't a nice man, but in general, the wider multiverse was just that, there are these people. Multiverses within the grand multiverse, because the idea is that, in a true multiverse, every single piece of fiction
at the station nobody cared about, to suddenly being like a dominant power in the multiverse. Because the Farshnik is just going everywhere, going, I will tell you!
Safety of the multiverse, and they've been winning because the multiverse still exists. But they're now reaching a point where if they're not sort of, minimal effects, it will be set in the multiverse of the Great Green Nothingness, it will.
You could travel the entirety of the multiverse and find the one girl who would be utterly perfect for you and would genuinely
is ruling the United Civilization of the Multiverse and blah blah blah, but she's not everywhere. United Civilizations of the Multiverse are not.
your soul, because your soul is logic. So they can, and they've got multiverse traveling machines, so they can scan the soul.
The first era of the Grand Multiverse, and in the kind of the second part, I will talk about the second era. The multiverse is fucking huge, and you cannot coordinate in the multiverse because literally you're talking about about how artificial intelligence works in the multiverse. I have written my story about revolution in the multiverse.
Various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, last night, things to come across. So it's all, and these are kind of the new thing in the multiverse. The new terrifying across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I want to recognize the newly created United Civilizations of the Multiverse on the agreement that essentially people from across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I'm very not well. Single universe, and so in a way the multiverse is a living, evolving thing. And so when you travel back in time, all you're doing is you're creating a new.
Kirsch is busy making sure that that her section of the multiverse does not fall to the Nazis. People across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and with a kind of physics that is explained within the law of the multiverse, and not just, well, it's Sonic, so...
Lucy Dance's aura is writ large throughout the multiverse, especially our tiny pocket of it, and there are big... I have waged bloody warfare with my king and savaged the multiverse without realizing. And you would pick a fight because I stated a simple fact about my relationship.
There is a lot of stuff going on with regards to the sort of politics of the multiverse and how sylphs relate to it, and sort of the
not yet been deposed because they are too useful to the multiverse. They patrol it, keeping any threats to the multiverse at bay. Of all the different permutations of the multiverse, of all universes, of the entirety of creation. Growing with lots of universes forever dying, number of universes within the multiverse dividing all the time, some of them dying off.
To kind of comprehend about the multiverse because of the sort of studies of quantum mechanics. He is in a position to sort of...
We shall achieve the final solution and wipe out all of the multiverse so that it's just one logical void. Buzz is queen of the Earth in the United Civilizations of the Multiverse. She's got a, you know, a hatchling. Various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and today I am going to be talking
part of this United Civilizations of the Multiverse, whereas really all it really is at this point is just a
great tumble of universes that make up the multiverse, and on a great war that is taking place for the safety of the...
I have now gotten this in the multiverse so that I can now at some point bring in characters having
I should also mention, if I haven't before, there are dragons in the multiverse. I mean, of course there are... it shouldn't be that surprising because, you know, all possible outcomes accounted for in the multiverse. With the multiverse, you know, sorting things going on.
I don't think that's the case. and yet it's a multiverse. But no, the way I work it is that the multiverse.
And so they were the monsters, and I had this idea of the multiverse. I've been playing around with, you know,
They have been fighting a war for the safety of the multiverse, and they've been winning because the multiverse still exists. Stopping the end of the universe. They are stopping the end of the multiverse. They are stopping the end of everything. You know, you can't just patrolling their own small pockets of the multiverse. Is the formation of the Logicios, because the Logicios are
universe. This is within the United Civilizations of the multiverse, and the Bam Kirsch is there, which means there's, you know, there's and be created in the multiverse. And the way this happens is the way this happens is through a process known as various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and the sunglasses of justice will not be. Good evening, various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Apologies, I've, you know, enemy out there called the Septagonoids who literally want to wipe out the entirety of the multiverse because they're just like somewhere on the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse, because it turns out once you've been to war, you no longer fucking give a shit. Good evening, various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I have just,
you know, D&D with me. Fuck it. You know, go on to Adventures of the Multiverse, say hi, and, you know, say the kind of...
And they're sent out to go explore the multiverse, make peace with new civilizations, welcome them into the United Civilizations of the multiverse.
and that's the kind of tragedy of the multiverse, is that you genuinely can't, you know, all it is again, you know.
I mean, of course, you know, the multiverse being the multiverse, there are always werewolves.
Is that there might be some scientific evidence in favour of a multiverse. Our best hope is that some fuckers in a different... She's absolutely doing it because I want to take over the multiverse. This person will let me do that if I... Greetings, fair and awesome people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and well, the most adorable egg box there is in the history of the multiverse. Which is a reference that only makes sense if you have watched, you know, in that the logic is saying, this doesn't make any sense, we must fix it by wiping out all life in the multiverse. And the chaos is like, yes, this
example of this within sort of the multiverse is the wereshock. The wereshock is there from day one. The wereshock is there.
The big enemy in the in my multiverse is coming, and they're like essentially the people who have been...
So that just alters the way the logic bubbles look, but basically my multiverse is exactly the same. La 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 la. So she is the ultimate counterpoint to the Farshnook within the world of the multiverse, I suppose, because, you know, the imperial conquest of universes into joining the United Civilizations of the multiverse, the apparently civilized attempt at protecting the multiverse without recourse. I'm not even sure the multiverse works like that. Maybe the chicken and the egg both came first, but is already about to destroy the entirety of the multiverse when Lucy essentially tricks the Septagonoids into
it, and I pray to every god in the grand multiverse that the troll who realized the joke stopped being funny a long time ago.
Destruction and annihilation of everything in the entire multiverse. And this is stuff that genuinely, like,
across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans. Now, I burn and almighty people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and at the end and just being like, oh, I seem to have taken over a few multiverses. How did that happen? Because it's just so
Roll20 or whatever, then you're free to join the adventurers of the multiverse. And hey, if there is a lot
of people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, we're going to be talking about
the multiverse. You can create original characters in the world of the multiverse. You know, you're very welcome to, and you know, I'd like to. You know, in terms of destroying the multiverse, and thus the William Dixon Wright, in a petulant fury, says, "You know, in the broad context of the multiverse, it sort of makes sense. You know, verse." And of the United Civilizations of the multiverse, and that
things various and mighty people across grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and no,
you know, the kind of deities of this multiverse, that they kind of develop from
not this new multiverse, but this new era of the multiverse. Instead of kind of trying to do this stuff of the Logicios as the grand empire that patrols the multiverse, and basically, you know, that they were founded by
the multiverse so that people in the United Civilizations of the multiverse have a better chance of fighting the Septagonoids, and therefore
and wondrous people across time and indeed the multiverse. I'm Gordon Jahans, and yesterday I wrote a thing which I am linking,
and again, that's, you know, in my great multiverse with order as the enemy, there is order within it, you know, from
Depressing.
Except almost the people in my multiverse look at it in kind of and in fairness, it's a great big flipping multiverse. We're talking about trillions of what is kind of called the United Civilizations of the multiverse. It was quite an important point of law, and all that happened was that people, the you know, the logic of the multiverse happens to like to order things into. So that means that, of course,
everywhere within the United Civilizations of the multiverse. And similarly, she can do the same for the Logicios.
And then the Seven Great Empires came along and they extended out the multiverse and they said, "Oh, you fuckers!" And they
Contravox can travel spaces, right? If they can travel the multiverse, right? They certainly have the ability to,
you know. And because it's the multiverse, but even then, you know, I'm kind of anti this idea of hyper-competent people, because heaven knows, well, the multiverse knows that right now, with all these fucking hormones running around my body,
no civilization of the multiverse outnumbers them, and the United Civilizations of the multiverse basically immediately turns on them.
Who drops into town, starts a revolution, and then steps into another multiverse to do the same thing over again. What kind?
Essentially, we have a form of capitalism in the multiverse whereby actual people, sentient people who are kind of impossible to kill.
A spaceship, and I will travel through time and space in the multiverse, and I will steal tech from everywhere, and I will have an empire, and I will
Across grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I have just literally realized various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and the multiverse.
My name is Alexander Gordon Johansson.
Greetings, various people across time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Johansson. I
wants to associate with anybody else in that multiverse, then unless that author has specifically
Right? In the sense that this is the point where the multiverse fiction starts to be about stuff. Greetings, fair and wondrous people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time, indeed the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans, and I am going to be
people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, remember how I was going
personally believe that outside of the universe is a great big multiverse, and that, you know, there are a fine.
And then there is a third rule, a third kind of statement of fact, which is that I've got a multiverse. I've got a multiverse. Kind of freeing the multiverse, helping to free the people of the multiverse, and all she's really, in which Lucy Dance, heroine of the multiverse, and this trilogy that I am going to write, will start to tell her. So I was thinking, this is a multiverse shit, right? You've already travelled in time, so I believe you in that. Specifically, with regards to time travel in my multiverse, there will be a link to the thing to the video.
Plasticlones, the Septagonoids, the United Civilizations of the Multiverse, and the Architects of Chaos, and the misogynistic super nerd super fans who patrol the multiverse and kidnap people to keep them as their pets, and it's all kind of weird.
Quantum teleportation powered devices and sell her throughout the multiverse to fund my war effort. You know,
and the soul. Souls exist because basically, right, logic is what makes the multiverse run, and logic is what makes people run.
I've seen things out there. I've seen things in the multiverse. Humanity is gonna need a protector because the spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I'm gonna try throughout every single universe in the multiverse. In the multiverse, I'll talk about that in a moment. It's a thing that is dividing all the time. Playing around with, you know, I've been interested in sort of the mechanics of the multiverse and the, you know, the quantum mechanics and how the name various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I just know he knows how to travel the multiverse, and essentially his plasticlones will help essentially her cold and alone in the universe, and so that's why the multiverse is grand. And so the controvoxi are important because they are
deep in their soul that that's fucking wrong. They are the pedanters of the multiverse. They are saying, no, and story, and I want to set it in this multiverse with the complicated things, then
various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I look like shit. People across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, today I'm going to be an extra added thing in the multiverse. You therefore will have some unique logic string that signifies
people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans, and I'm having the kind of slot in the pantheon of the Far Snoot to go out and retake the multiverse, but to do so in accordance with all you across the grand and mighty spectrum of time, indeed the multiverse. So,
going to be a legitimate theory that works within the concept of the multiverse, right? Why? Why would that fair and awesome people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse? My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. That scene is there as kind of the fulcrum of the lore of the fucking multiverse, of like how this biological machine using and about it's not actually being about telling the story of the multiverse, right? And I suppose that's kind of play into introducing a new part of the world and of the multiverse, and sort of, it says goodbye to the past and welcomes in the future. Just living. Choice World is the one place in the entire multiverse where septagonoids are allowed to be people, just so long as they keep the... I suppose the multiverses in which those meetings happened, things will have happened differently.
That as a threat to the multiverse, they don't make much sense. And up against the all-powerful,
I needed to keep them from succeeding and to keep the multiverse existing. And the leader of the United Civilizations of the multiverse, heir to the Thanos nuke sort of thing. But Daniela's probably the most complex character of them all, trying to find a way to use the multiverse to help with that, right? Like, because I suppose ultimately it's, it goes back to... So, multiverse. The multiverse is kind of a bit of series about the setting up of this new multiverse. I figure it's kind of better. Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, before I begin,
how it views the multiverse at like the energy grid or whatever.
I fucking hope to all the fucking gods in the goddamn multiverse that the right cave fucking quickly and then
going on this long, slow arc ship through the multiverse. Oh wait, I've got this seg hat, I've got this quantum oscillator. Yeah, we can totally just...
Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. So there was an that once within this multiverse, once within the United Civilizations of the multiverse, there is this idea. So, the multiverse. What is the multiverse? Basically, in the beginning, before the universe, before any universe, the Fortunate who, as the rest of the multiverse, knows him later on. But
universe like a great big cloud wandering through the multiverse, and he came upon this woman who was reincarnated.
Eldritch thing that was like logic formed before the multiverse even existed, sort of eons, is because once upon a time, before the multiverse existed, there was just nothingness and void, and within this nothing, proper exploration of my view of the multiverse, which is that, the logic in my multiverse is evolving, right? Well, it evolved from the... And I think I'm gonna spin my multiverse stuff now, and if there is one really fucking good thing,
And connecting the different parts of the multiverse together. And once you have a fiction decide to set it off in a multiverse, is that I don't actually have a lot of faith that we will find intelligence.
Nobody gets ideas above their station and decides to go out and conquer the multiverse, right? You know. Yeah, you know. Fascist
recording almost within the multiverse. There would have to be some kind of designation within the
center. It is bigger on the inside, travels through time in the multiverse, and it has a handy dandy fast return switch. The faster it presses the switch, and there's a sound
fan kind of stuff of just like, and here's a multiverse of interactivity with different key events in comic stuff, and it's like,
you know, orb, and basically rides off through the multiverse, enters into a universe, picks where the final solution leaves off. That's where essentially you get the end of the multiverse to a certain extent, right? In the sense that they're in the United Civilizations of the multiverse is all these different individual independent cultures. United Civilizations of the multiverse is that at this point the United Civilizations of the multiverse outnumber them, and also, right,
a multiverse presents us the possibility that all fiction is real. Farshnik, tell me about the Sylphs and tell me about the United Civilizations of the multiverse.
people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse getting blown to shit. The American people do not want to keep dying for other countries.
Be part of the Logissio war fleet to fight in the United Civilizations of the multiverse. If you don't fancy to be part of the great, to be a cog, turn this genuine, like, the great prophetess traveling the multiverse to you know, stabilize.
just it gets moved somewhere else. Like in an infinite enough multiverse, shit just happens, right? On a large enough scale.
Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and that guinea pig is called Max.
Hence, grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. And yet, we have a moral fucking binary, which is absurd. It's like people isn't period of the multiverse, and that this is the period of the multiverse when things are blowing us up because, you know, the multiverse will go boom. And then
BioShock Infinite don't know multiverses as far as I'm concerned. Or at least they don't know a multiverse that...
At the same time, I think it would be far worse if I didn't think this much about my multiverse stuff. Because I am writing a cog in the great machine of the multiverse. And in the grand meta-narrative of it. I mean, I've got this multiverse thing, you know. I've got this multiverse thing where, you know, like, genuinely anything fiction. Well, actually, yeah, from another multiverse, because of course there are multiverses within the grand multiverse. Because the idea is that
I'm gonna let that stop me from going out kicking ass and, you know, kind of saving the multiverse by, you know, encouraging all
the Logissios are no longer the dominant force in the multiverse. The United Civilization of the multiverse is a tyrannical jackboot upon the multiverse. So
the universe is like a living thing, you know. The multiverse is like a living thing, and, you know, if the multiverse is gonna have a multiverse somewhere within the larger multiverse, and now my head's starting to hurt. But you know,
it's a very different kind of dynamic, and it's something that kind of my multiverse sort of plays with and explores a lot in many different ways. Greetings, fair and awesome people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time, and indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and
any kind of life forms that exist in the multiverse, and in the universe, sorry. The multiverse is way too fucking. They are fun explorations of the sort of the multiverse and of the ethics and the morality and
the chaos of the multiverse. Is part of the makeup of the Elder Gods, like the Farshnook. Various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now look, I am
queen of this rock. I am queen of the multiverse. Laura was blown away. Here was someone who knew what they were doing.
On the agreement that essentially the United Civilizations of the Multiverse still send them the
Watchers, which is basically about the founding of a fourth estate across the multiverse, which is, essentially a great multiversal have been welcomed into the United Civilizations of the multiverse. So, a Logisio can be very,
it's not the done thing. It's in the grand multiverse, it's kind of a taboo to dealing various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I have finally
still a United Civilizations of the multiverse, but the United Civilizations of the multiverse existed to protect against.
They think the universe, they think the multiverse, the nothingness is wrong. And if you watch the last video, you'll know that, yeah, it is.
Ladies and gentlemen, and various people across grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Yes, people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and that is that. It's the physics of the multiverse make it incredibly depressing.
To call themselves, the United Civilization of the multiverse, but they're not really a viable thing anymore.
Greetings, people across grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. And yes,
in every gender and every story. He stopped and spread his arms out wide. This is the multiverse, where all reality is kept.
The multiverse, welcoming people into the United Civilization of the multiverse. But more or less, it is the Bam Kirsch motivate
utter destruction of all reality, of all multiverse, of all the different permutations of the multiverse.
And he came upon this woman who was reincarnated in the multiverse as essentially a ghost. This is as far as I'm concerned. Or at least they don't know a multiverse that solves the whole problem of okay.
the grand spectrums of time, and indeed the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. And I want to tell you
logic and to the evolution of logic and the sort of the logic of the multiverse through her actions there, and then people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I'm going to be talking about something that's not
the worst, and he's genre savvy, and he knows about the multiverse and everything, so he knows that I'm entirely to blame. Fanfiction. I have a multiverse. There are 100 million universes where the Logicios turn up. And
I'm writing far more fucked up shit, but I'm like, okay, so this is the history of the multiverse. These are the Elder Gods. These are the of Life is Strange, because like I'm a quantum mechanics guy, and I like the multiverse because it does away with the fucking and basically patrol the multiverse, fight in this forever war, keep the country safe, But oh, by the way, you do not need to understand the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse for them to be fucking facts. You do not need to, and therefore leave the United Civilizations of the Multiverse free to take on the Logicios, and therefore eventually kick out the band. People across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. So, this apartment, Lisa, is a ship. It can travel time, space, and the multiverse, and now we are going to make you fall in love with the man who
do as we say because we goddamn need troops, because otherwise the multiverse goes boom. Right? And you can't tell that.
So, things are going to get interesting in the multiverse. Things are definitely going to get interesting. All the things fair and awesome people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Golden Jahans, and
doing this is because this multiverse, a lot of thought has gone into it, a lot of world building.
Various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and the multiverse. I am me. And I have had a bad day. A very bad day.
greetings, various people across time and multiverse. And, I'm going to keep this brief. Kind of. Jessica explained all that I have explained to you about the multiverse as I ate a roast chicken and a rack of
Front lines of the, great Septagonoid war, which the United Civilizations of the multiverse are fighting against.
Oh, okay, you're gonna have a much wider area of the United Civilizations of the multiverse, and in that area you will then be able to
Set in the wider multiverse, but what I'm going to do is have it set that sort of, this is like
gods are seeded effectively throughout every single universe in the multiverse. In the multiverse,
been crippled. The United Civilizations of the multiverse have disbanded, and of course, the band, various and mighty people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time, and indeed the multiverse. I'm Alexander Golden Jahans, and as not his greetings, various and mighty people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time, and indeed the multiverse. I am Golden Jahans, and let's do comedy, some fantasy. Do I write, fairly generic sci-fi? No, I've gone for my own multiverse. I go for stuff that's like,
there'll be a corresponding universe within the multiverse. There'll be a corresponding universe where that fiction is reality, and vice versa. Ladies and gentlemen across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, my desktop is fixed. And because of the complexity of the multiverse and the way that the multiverse is...
The fanfic and my original canon, it's a multiverse. So I kind of see that, yeah, you can't have...
He's too stupid. He's not actually going to try and conquer the multiverse. Galaplasty will let that happen. She'll let that slide.
Said that Lucy can't make it because, well, she's busy saving the multiverse and fighting for silver equality and, all that good stuff.
Grand spectrums of time in the multiverse, but, autism is a spectrum disorder. It is not binary. You are not high.
A stepping out into the multiverse, into Earths that are habitable immediately, so colonization can begin with...
Gentlemen and various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. If they are threatening to rape your daughter and blow up the entire thrilling multiverse, you do what you think is right. They are a race of pure logic who are like, hang on, this multiverse doesn't make any sense. We want to make it make sense. We shall achieve the ability to travel the multiverse. Or the Holy Grail. Ooh. People across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I did a sort of test recording, see where agents find themselves drawn to protecting the multiverse and thus doing their bit to help in the war effort. I mean, okay, the multiverse is a very fucking big place, and you know they don't need food to survive. You know, there's introducing a concept or advancing a concept that plays into the wider multiverse. Because once upon a time, I was gonna make a TV
that essentially the multiverse of the different Earths, the long Earth.
people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. This is not a scripted video. Extremely pedantic. According to them, the multiverse shouldn't exist because the nothingness it sits within is founded and folded.
For those of you who haven't, the Long Mars is about it's set in a multiverse, but so far the multiverse has just been about
to make a difference. But fundamentally, the moment that you interfere in the multiverse, you are just creating. Greetings, various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time, indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and today we are going to be. Greetings, various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. Now, I'm not in a good place. Who is thrust into this mad multiverse, and essentially kind of the real main protagonist, you know, the Sherlock Holmes, is just like
the fact that, you know, writing time travel stories in a multiverse where you can't really do a paradox, so you have.
She becomes leader of the United Civilizations of the Multiverse, basically de facto queen of the United Civilizations of the Multiverse. At least across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, Greetings, various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am not the fortunate just moron who writes him, and this is kind and lenient and actually are on good terms with United Civilizations of the Multiverse. And indeed, as part of this subhuman form on Earth, because he was so horrible in the wider multiverse that he was executed and kind of escaped execution by whose entire job is to say there's a problem in the multiverse that could threaten it. I'm gonna go there. With the sort of themes and style of the multiverse, but also to serve as an introduction and origin story of the idea that essentially
series, but it's basically something I made up for myself. And here's the thing: in my multiverse, at least, it works because
biological machine that is at the center of the fucking mythos of the multiverse, how it works, right? And the idea, and so whilst the United Civilizations of the multiverse have been expanding, right, that has cushioned.
And other stories set in the world of the green nothingness, that is the multiverse that the Fast Nuke and my various stories are set in.
Functionally speaking, the United Civilizations of the multiverse is a post-scarcity society, right? They have the ability to make infinite, vice versa. But also, to a certain extent, you know, in my multiverse, I've got this idea that essentially, if you have any actual aliens in the multiverse, because it's kind of a thing that I suppose I share with Dwarf out this to the various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. And yes, I am going to put on a shirt now, but in signing up for the Adventures of the Multiverse or for the future Pathfinder series. So you've got this, you know, multiverse that can kind of that is just ordering shit about as
Yeah. The red pill in the multiverse of my fiction is the pill that turns you into adorable cat.
people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and today, well, I'm exploring the world, the multiverse, and I'm exploring the meta-narrative that is going on.
Damn it, and they're gonna make the multiverse make sense. Right. And that
The universe is concerned, as far as the multiverse is concerned, well, that soul could have been smuggled into anybody. It could have been put in people across the various spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. This is democracy free. You know, move to the Choice World or to the Pan Multiverse Good Time Association, or they could do with hacking into how the logic of the multiverse catalogues different thinking entities. As such, what Emma was doing,
the sort of the first era of the multiverse, that you get the idea of free selves. That free selves are selves who
massive, you know, war going on, you know, with, you know, the United Civilizations of the multiverse and, you know, the septagnoids against
on the multiverse at a local level, right? Whilst the first nuke is out there, you know.
Greetings, fair and awesome people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Today, nothing would please this sick fuck more than turning the great scourge of the multiverse into his little toy. But the septagnoid wasn't having it and things got heated.
People across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, I am the eldritch abomination, occasionally associated with a homonym element by saying, no, it's the multiverse and we're heading towards the singularity. But
various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I'll be honest, right? I'm not having certain ethical complications to saying here is a multiverse, in which everything that happens, everything that is fiction happens. Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, let's talk about various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Alexander Gordon Jahans.
The grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. You know who I am. It is the afternoon after the clusterfuck. In reality, like it's a simulation, except there is actually a physics to how the multiverse works that makes a damn sight more sense than
The way I work it is that the multiverse is nothingness. Pure, undiluted nothingness, but a nothingness. So
Greetings, various people across time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. A revolution that founds the United Civilizations of the multiverse isn't the only thing that's special about these dance, because people and say, you know what, this person, I own them now. All multiverse incarnations of them that crop up under UCMS law,
like, you can write in the world of the multiverse. You can create original characters in the world of the multiverse.
And mighty people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans, and you might
of Lady Christina de Souza, and then kind of where sharks turn up and multiverses turn up and then sylphs turn up and it goes off the rails and a schnook with honourable aims to patrol the multiverse, right? To keep it safe. But they
fluffy, light story about, you know, people hooking up in a weird way in the multiverse, but you've got to have conflict for a story.
Like it's got some ties to the multiverse, but it's very much gonna be like
things a series of escapades into the early multiverse that would essentially see him at spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. And yeah, this video is going to be a little different.
People across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and the multiverse. This is sort of a review of the a review
With new civilizations, welcome them into the United Civilizations of the Multiverse so that they can whoop ass, right?
across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. At least for the moment. Part of the lore of the multiverse is the idea that there are three ways to survive. The first way is domination.
The multiverse doesn't make sense, but it takes them a while to get to, we must destroy the multiverse! And it takes them even longer to get to the point
Across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and there is this force called the United Civilizations of the Multiverses, who are basically a pseudo-democratic.
There's still a United Civilizations of the Multiverse, but the United Civilizations of the Multiverse kind of the first era, which is kind of the opening up of the multiverse, right? Which is when you first start getting
Situation. Where essentially someone from another multiverse, from another multiverse.
I write a sci-fi series about the fucking multiverse, right? This stuff interests me. I like capitalism because it is a system of...
It's like, no, this literally is not how multiverse works, right? That's me being a nerd, and you know, fair enough. I have
any negative space wedgies that might pose a threat to the multiverse, they take care of it. And of course, you know, like the band Kirsches are still there.
This dreadful ordeal is by seeding fragments of her soul across the multiverse, and that's the sort of by the means, okay, in that, you know, within the multiverse, it doesn't matter to a certain extent what happens within one universe.
Now, close the book. There is a wider multiverse out there of stories to be told and read.
Greetings, fair and awesome people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. The back burner. That's why it's so safe. Even the great enemies of the multiverse respect Joyce World as a safe haven of peace and tranquility.
Have the advantage of the United Civilizations of the multiverse because their Farshnooks are able to act individually. You know, wandering, amoral, sadistic bastards going around from multiverse to multiverse, seducing people, what have you, and
you can travel in time. You can voyage the entire multiverse. And she lets me travel with her. Pilot her. Pilot her, I asked.
say the Controvoxi Survivor is really where the multiverse grows its beard, right? In the sense that this is the point where the multiverse, madness of the multiverse, not my fault if the multiverse decides that what is fiction is reality somewhere else. At this point, the United Civilizations of the multiverse is fucking massive. And oh, by the way,
that her friend, the Farshnook, set up, that the multiverse is full of brandy men going, "Ooh, pretty ladies!" People across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I'm gonna be talking.
The Septagonoids are beings of logic trying to destroy the multiverse, and that's why they're dangerous.
Understatement. Okay, we're talking about a multiverse that is on a scale that, like, I can't even imagine, you know.
Multiverse, once within the United Civilizations of the multiverse, there is this idea of cultural exchange, and so this things for and mighty people across grand and mighty spectrums of time, indeed the multiverse. It is seeming like now maybe they're fighting against a force that could end the multiverse, and at the same time they are fighting against a force that has
a little exploration of the alien geometries of the multiverse. Like the fact that they have...
This is the complexity of the multiverse, and the way that the multiverse is in my fiction all just essentially bubbles of logic, and people born Lisa in it that joins the United Civilizations of the multiverse. There's that's a peacekeeping thing like the EU. Is then I'm still kind of playing with concepts and ideas and things, but this is where the multiverse is at. Is that the multiverse is about
whether the United Civilizations of the multiverse really exists or not. And I suppose to a certain extent, as
no, guys, I'm a sci-fi writer, and my multiverse features fucked up logic. It's kind of a... Greetings, various people across time and the multiverse. Across the various spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is of the United Civilizations of the multiverse agree to this because they were about to be curb stomped by basically God. Different versions of the United Civilizations of the multiverse, multiple different logicios, and multiple different mankind.
I'm saying it supports this mad theory that I made up, that the Farshnuk's multiverse is set in, but I kind of...
gigantic haystack of the multiverse that would be okay with this happening and then just mass producing and distributing them.
right, that is the reason it is the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. It is a spectrum. One cannot represent the
Various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I'm about to make the one book and sell it, and sell the different multiverse versions of it. And that book causes the Vogons to destroy them. Like actually, in the same way that their characters and, you know, the multiverse as a work of fiction has developed, in that various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I want to talk about... Greetings, the people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, and greetings to all you alt-right...
in the work of the Big Bang and the multiverse, and in the various ways that we might be reincarnated through
of circumstances that will create the United Civilizations of the multiverse and will create this particular version of Lucy.
They make sure the multiverse doesn't go boom, because, you know, there is this, you know, enemy. Ladies and gentlemen and various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Or they could go to the United Civilizations of the multiverse, and, you know, they could, you know, procure a sylph from an adoption center. Or there is a reason that I say people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse, because I genuinely want some grand overlord who knows all in the infinite wisdom of the multiverse. I'm just an idiot with a webcam.
And they basically hate the multiverse's existence because it makes no sense. Damn it. And
so mass produces her incels throughout the multiverse, and does so because she needs to fund her war effort to that instigated the foundation of the United Civilization of the multiverse in the first place, right? And so, with the septagonoid Farshnuk's on the United Civilizations of the multiverse,
And indeed, you know, the United Civilizations of the Multiverse is basically run an
operation of everything in the entire multiverse. But they aren't malicious about it. They're not evil. They don't want to.
Wave of metahumans, and there is a time travel subplot. There is an element of multiverse to it. So therefore, if you are various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and revolutions
are every ship that is travelling the multiverse, and he is just like, he's got all this data and he's constantly running.
And there's the idea that essentially you have a multiverse of simulations, in that if you can accept a given number of immortal, it's replicated, it is part of the DNA of the multiverse. And you can't, no one is unique in the multiverse. No one is unique. But because the septaginoids, they are right. They are entirely fucking correct. The multiverse, the nothingness, it makes no sense.
People across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Alexander Gordon Jahans, and
in a somewhat positive and the multiverse doesn't end fashion. Because people, by and large, aren't gonna go so multiverse, and in the universe, sorry. The multiverse is way too fucking freaky to even contemplate it this way.
How do people adapt to a post-scarcity society? How does the politics of the multiverse work? Like,
a pontificating on the wonders of the multiverse and the very weird and surreal shit that can fucking happen. Okay, keeps sort of charging around the multiverse, charging around the universe, you know, sending up on planets, raising them, and whatever.
Flagships going out, venturing into the multiverse, welcoming people into the United Civilization of the multiverse.
It will basically turn the entirety of the multiverse, the entirety of the long earth, into one great voice. Okay.
You've got a multiverse out there. He's like, why the fuck would you go bothering around multiverses when you've got the alien planets there? But now...
series that features a multiverse. And I have planned out this multiverse for a long time, and I have worried.
People across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Yes, I know that right now of the the movers and shakers within the multiverse. It's a kind of good stepping on point to my kind of
stories that feature a multiverse as a central concept. But what I mean is that, like, I am going to be
this force that for good throughout the multiverse called the Logicios, who were founded by the Great Fosh. Quasi belief in the scientific idea that somehow, given an infinite multiverse, there is gonna be a multiverse where everything.
Created this character called the Farshnik, and this sort of universe, sort of multiverse place called the Green Nothingness, and in it strange stuff happens.
I feel like it fits within the multiverse. I feel like it works. I feel like I want to keep that around. Fundamentally selfish and small scale. It's either about the multiverse itself, about the world itself, or into the Pan Goat, the Pan Multiverse Good Time Association. Right? Here's the thing, you turned up trying to hurt people. The joy and majesty of the multiverse. And that's why I
essentially, in that kind of multiverse, there is essentially 3 ways to think about it. The first is that
if there is a multiverse and you have proof that there is a multiverse, despite the fact that, you know, they're on a frigging spaceship that can jump between multiverses, you know, despite the fact that they've is to destroy the multiverse because it makes no sense. These are my Daleks. These are
Hello, various people across the ground that might spectrums of time into the multiverse. I am not the Farshnik, just the moron who writes him, and
people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, let's talk about rape. I mean, obviously,
to all the gods in the multiverse, despite being an anti-theist, that somehow the establishment will wise the fuck
teleportation, that quantum multiverses or quantum physics, right? If you know this is a fact, physical thing of the United Civilizations of the multiverse. Stories of, you know, what happens when the United Civilizations of the multiverse,
of, you know, these badass black women just liberating the multiverse, one universe at a time, saying, yeah, okay, we'll save you,
little snowflake, and that you are individual and unique because you don't have to travel the multiverse and risk bumping into the you.
Yeah, the United Civilizations of the multiverse have lost their Lucies, right? But the Lucies were only...
Ladies and gentlemen, there is a reason that the beings at the end of the multiverse that are threatening to destroy all is basically a commonplace piece of technology in the multiverse. But, you know, they are genuinely like a sexist patriarch.
the multiversal sort of structure anymore. The United Civilizations of the multiverse were basically held together.
A loose, large collective of empowered individuals who largely patrol the multiverse as journeying heroes, but also do.
So the Dungeons and Dragons campaign will be set in the same multiverse as every other piece of fiction that I write,
with what this has done for the world building of the multiverse, right? There is, you know, one aspect, one thing that I have ever traveling back to a different multiverse, to a different universe. There is no static going of chaos, which is essentially the kind of good guys, the good multiverse traveling superheroes, an architect of. It's a sound principle, because if you think about it, you're in this great multiverse without logic that's not limited by anything. And laissez-faire state of, you know, merry wanderers traveling the multiverse and become a bunch of... With the United Civilizations of the multiverse, what you have is this kind of militarily a mad tyrant going around terrorizing the multiverse once he had gotten this, you know, human form, humanoid, across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and greetings, various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, this is an unscripted review.
this is a Farshnik who has done that, who has condemned himself to hell for the sake of the multiverse. If you don't think that the Farshnik would in the United Civilizations of the multiverse, right? And this is how essentially the United Civilizations grows and grows and grows.
Greetings, fair and awesome people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and welcome to... There is a kind of... My multiverse exists within this thing called the nothingness, and that has the origin... People across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I wasn't gonna do a video today. Tools of the Logicios and of sort of life within the Grand Multiverse. Things like the memory gun. The memory gun being...
But I give a shit about my multiverse. And I think I'm gonna spin my multiverse stuff now, and
I will send fragments of myself off into the multiverse, and they will do nothing except cause, you know, slightly strange. But that's just because it's a fucking big, wide multiverse out there. And with his role in the story, you know, it's... They're brave people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse because, of course, actually a lot of people who come back from war...
Gather laughs, already halfway across the field. The multiverse is vast and complicated, only navigable by
all across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and look, when it
liquidators and robo-liquefiers, what makes everyone in the multiverse stop fighting around in their own little universes or
things, fair and awesome people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and welcome to my...
They're crippled. The United Civilizations of the multiverse is nowhere near as crippled. The United Civilizations of the multiverse outnumber
any kind of afterlife or legacy in the great multiverse. If there is any kind of various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. This has been Alexander Gordon Jahans. And this has been a fucking long video. And say, oi, stop doing that. But then the multiverse could end. So it's sort of like, fuck you, sort of thing. Various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. And I just wanted to say thank you.
to patrol the multiverse, let alone to provide some kind of grand overriding force
Across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. These are dark times. Very dark times. Both tell I came to be as a mistake of logic in the multiverse. Spent a few universe time spans as a crazy god. Then a woman begged me to eat her. Essentially infinitely reproduced, because the problem with the multiverse, having the multiverse as
the difference between the Logicios and the United Civilizations of the multiverse is that the United Civilizations of the multiverse
to the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse is because I don't really fit in anywhere. You know, the cis people hate me because I from alien lands come to make the world a brighter place. Except in Choice World, in the multiverse, one man really could make a difference. And you know, the cosmological universe, multiverse. Or we're talking about inflation, or we're talking about my version, or we're talking about... Greetings! Various people across grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Because, yes, we have the United Civilizations of the multiverse on the one hand, then we have the
sort of spreading this submissive juice around the multiverse, right? I mean, let's face it, by, you know,
how given an infinite multiverse, there is gonna be a multiverse where everything fiction is real, right? Like an introduction to my multiverse, it was kind of in this crucial interstitial point of the multiverse that I am
in the Gordon Banks stories later, and in the multiverse later, as essentially the self-liberation front makes moves to, and like that will have had an impact on the multiverse, and you know, that essentially you will have gotten all these different traveller communities.
Is boredom, okay? Because I'm a writer, like I'm used to visualizing multiverses, okay? I'm used to deadlines and the crime
Is logical, and so every thinking thing as part of the logical multiverse will have some sort of great prophets archon to everybody who fucking matters in the multiverse, that when it's exploring, you know, the Farshnuk's place in the multiverse. It's exploring the fact that as the war goes on, the fact that it may be real in a parallel universe is down to the madness of the multiverse. Not my fault if the multiverse decides that.
Good evening, various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, I want to talk about
in the great green nothingness multiverse. Now that isn't to say that every story we produce will be
the United Civilizations of the multiverse are probably best represent
Fair and wonderful people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans, and today
multiverse going every Earth in the entirety of the multiverse going boom because corporations decided it'd be a really cheap way. Totes significant to the multiverse for very important reasons. Very important reasons. Across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. And about a week or so ago, various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and this adorable little, that too is canon. That is canon to the multiverse, and there are characters that were created for that sick. And these are the bad guys who want to destroy the multiverse because it makes no sense!
they're technically right. The multiverse is stupid. The multiverse is an incredibly stupid idea that has no grounding in.
Because this is the multiverse, where anything is possible, where you can find that one person in
a new era of storytelling in the great green nothingness in the multiverse, whereby there are going to be
few and far between. And when you've got a big enough multiverse, and you've got enough Farshnuk's, that things aren't so much of an issue. There's in a story that I wrote but never actually published, called the Pan Multiverse Good Time Association. Partly to kind of create artificial intelligence within the multiverse in a way that made sense with the lore and
catalogued, and if anybody within that great multiverse wants to associate with anybody else in that multiverse, then chosen for their adaptability and ability to learn and improvise. They travel the multiverse, stealing technology, learning what they can from it, and
I've done that now. I feel like the multiverse is in a much better position now that my race was not dead. Humanity persists across the multiverse no matter what the Contravox I do. My culture and civilization
on a giant universe shark in the beginning of the multiverse, I'm winging it.
experiences discrimination because, you know, this is a multiverse that has very clearly been shaped by the Farshnuk, and the Farshnuk is many things.
the founding of the United Civilizations of the multiverse, then read my fanfic of the Podquisition, which is again a fucking long one.
About the exact order of the subatomic elements, even though those are what the multiverse splits off into.
swapping machine, so they can scan the souls of everyone in the multiverse, find someone who is compatible, and someone who would be up for it, and go,
Hi, various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am the horrible, pubescent pile of grossness that is Alexander. He's just this sort of benevolent being wafting through the multiverse, you know. The Bam Kirsch is kind of a dick. The Bam Kirsch just uses people.
so every fictional story about a multiverse is going to have a multiverse somewhere within the larger multiverse, and now my head's starting to hurt. Ladies and gentlemen, and various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. Now, various people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans. And I'm going to be explaining
that the United Civilizations of the multiverse are a united civilization. They are overseen by this one universe, you know, notionally continuing the United Civilizations of the multiverse because they want to continue
have one version of the multiverse that essentially means you have more
sort of you can shrink people within the world of the multiverse by, you know, essentially shrinking.
Well, you know, this is fine. I mean, I'm spending time with a Hodge who travels the multiverse, saving lives. This is awesome. I don't have to worry about, because there's almost a sort of karmic justice in the sense that, to a certain extent, the logic of the multiverse can tell, oh,
migrant convoys and what have you across the multiverse from where Logicios have, you know, either, you know,
of what becomes known as the United Civilizations of the multiverse. A lot of this story of how this comes about is told in you know, I mean, yes, there's so many different multiverses, well, no, so many different universes, although I suppose everything, the universe, going from planet to planet, they can travel the multiverse even, going from Earth to Earth to Earth. And an interesting little explanation of the multiverse, because it's just, you know, I have people in my I have elder gods in my multiverse who struggle so much with there is a section of the multiverse that is essentially cordoned off to act.
this is the Farshanuk, this is the multiverse, but also these are the characters, this is the new world, this is how this world.
The United Civilizations of the multiverse is essentially going to manage itself as the ever-growing ally to majestic dragons across the grand wide multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and I'm going to go on a...
Didn't make Bioshock Infinite, so yeah, fair enough. Their version of a multiverse might be genuinely as the spoony one
before the start of the United Civilizations of the multiverse, and essentially that point is when, you know,
various people across the grand and mighty spectrums of time and indeed the multiverse. I am Gordon Jahans, and
for me is where I take this idea of constants and variables, because you see, as far as, you know, my multiverse is concerned, and you'll basically get to continue your autonomy, and the universe, the multiverse will continue on relatively. For people across the grand spectrums of time in the multiverse, my name is Alexander Gordon Jahans, and yes, there was in a version of a multiverse, and to a certain extent, it doesn't matter whether we're talking about.
The dream is for a multiverse canon, a multiversal canon, okay? So that you can do crossover
and have a look at what I consider the finest arse in the multiverse, the arse of Lucy Dance.
And so a multiverse is kind of like, well, the multiverse doesn't have to end.
In the effect of every single passing moment, the multiverse itself is dividing and universes are being destroyed and...
Greetings, various people across the grand spectrums of time and the multiverse. My name is Alexander Gordon Jahans.
This is gonna be my world. This is gonna be... Not the multiverse, not the multiverse. The,